Welcome to Lesson 3, the relationship between seller and buyer, which belongs to Module 1 of the new buyer in post-pandemic. Let's reflect on what consulting sales mean to you. Over a long time, consulting sales have been a process that has adapted a lot to complex project processes and has helped many companies to sell very high tickets. But this reflection is for you, and I hope you can share it with us so that we can all learn along this course. VUCA has been a term that has been used in recent years to refer to all the number of variables that exist in crises or in key moments that companies are going through. As we are observing here, the meanings that each word has are closely related to something that you have surely experienced in recent years, that companies are having a lot of volatility, a lot of uncertainty, complex processes, and a lot of ambiguity. Many of the processes that we are going to have to modify in the way we approach customers have to do with VUCA. And as we can adapt as quickly as possible to understand how our customers are going through all these particularities, it is much more likely that any solution can go hand in hand with what they need. Why? Because companies are not only building their business models to be able to win markets, but they are also facing complexity, practices that they have to start modifying under chaotic environments to be able to implement better practices in what they are doing. And obviously, this means that all consulting sales have to be based on the system. Sales of solutions to companies that have systemic problems is a main foundation to be able to move forward with everything we have to do within the help of our clients. Systemic decisions. As we can understand, with systemic decisions, they can directly affect each of the interrelationships that exist in the companies of our clients. As we know, within an organization, the management models and the way in which solutions are being provided to customers will always cause us to have to interact with many variables. Systemic decisions are what make this type of methodology, like lean sales, can be approached to help our clients facilitate their entire customer journey in a much more agile way. Why? Currently, clients are obviously afraid of making a mistake in any decision, but this is not only the case in companies, it also happens in human decisions. Every time, in the face of more information and more options, we are very afraid of making mistakes. In companies, specifically in B2B, when we are having to solve systemic problems, the decisions that fall on only one person or one area obviously generate a high level of risk. And this, in turn, generates a fear of making a mistake. We have to understand that systemic decisions are very likely to be at high risk for companies. That is why they are taking longer and longer to decide. What are the characteristics that have been found between traditional toxic relationships and value relationships? Well, we particularly have to understand that traditional customers are still looking for transactional relationships where they are looking for price, and at the same time that pushes traditional sellers to continue pushing in the way they are selling. This is causing more and more friction and more mistrust, and therefore traditional buyers themselves are taking longer and longer to decide because they don't know if the products and solutions on the market will really help you advance in all your business goals. It is very important that we identify how much our sales process is being traditional and toxic, because after all, it is a relationship. The relationship we have with our client will also determine a lot how we are advancing in each of the objectives of our sale. The differences between toxic relationships and value relationships are focused on how we perceive the challenges our clients have and how we can identify that there are clients with a maturity level who are also asking for help, or those who are only asking for solutions. When we are having a consulting sales process, it is so important to identify the client's profile, how to identify how our client perceives the problem. As we are seeing in this slide, the conflicts that are not healthy are always divided by perceptions about the problem, and it seems that the problem is the other part. What we always have to try to do is to understand the problems as an independent part of people, so that in collaboration and co-creation, we can look at both in how to solve it together and thus be able to avoid misunderstandings and frictions in the process itself. With this, we finish Lesson 3 and move on to Lesson 4.